Oh man, we need to talk about James Wynn, the degen leverage trader who was up $100 million on his position, only to see it tumbling down to lower than zero. This has caught the crypto market by surprise over the last few days, and intrigue has been going around as to what is going on. But it doesn't just stop there. He's still actively trading, currently taking another $100 million position, which as soon as he opened went down $1 million in losses. We need to break down exactly what's going on here, the warnings, the lessons, the things we need to take away from what's going on here. And we're going to start off by understanding the major story. So for those who aren't familiar, who haven't been, looking at the markets over the last kind of 3 or 4 days or so, James Wynn is a leverage trader, and he's come to prominence here over the last few days because he had the first billion-dollar trade on Hyperliquid. For those who aren't familiar with Hyperliquid, this is your decentralized, Binance or Coinbase equivalent, an exchange where you can go and trade perpetuals, i.e. leverage, right, without needing any centralized exchange or KYC. This guy, James Wynn, if you jump onto his profile, he makes it very clear that he was one of those that called Pepe at 600k market cap. He probably made his first bit of money there. But ever since then, he's taken a lot of crazy leverage positions in the trenches, on perps, on Bitcoin, on Pepe, on Farcoin, these kind of things. And that's how he rose to a little bit of prominence. But really what sparked off this latest news is the big position he had liquidated. Okay, so Wynn ended up with $23 on his account. His downfall began with a $1.25 billion long on Bitcoin that led to a $37 million loss after prices dropped. This has rose the question and the debate in the crypto space around market makers, right? Around exchanges. And if you've been watching my content for any period of time, you will know that I've been one of these warners for 4 or 5 years trying to explain to the average person here to stay away from leverage. How many times do I pull up the Bitcoin heat map and I show you guys, watch out for the leverage here, right? I pull up this chart, see it's still here on my tabs, and I show you guys, look, the market makers are trying to wick you out at these levels, but people don't seem to understand that. And now James Wynn is almost coming out and saying, look, I want to beat the system. I mean, look at this. If you want to support the cause or fight the corruption, buy Bitcoin right now. The moment I entered my long, the Insta hunted me. There is an agenda here and I don't know what it is. 2 things, guys. Either he doesn't know what he's talking about, in which case he's playing a bit dumb, or he knows what he's talking about, right? So we need to understand that there's nothing new here. Ever since the beginning of crypto, we understand that exchanges, market makers take the other side of the trade. In traditional finance, where I used to work, these are supposed to be separated, right? You have custody and then you have prop trading desks, which cannot interfere with each other. They cannot see where your stop losses are. They cannot see what positions you are taking. In crypto, however, you can see everything. If the FTX thing brought anything to light, what's going on with these exchanges is twofold. One, they're executing your trades. But 2, they're taking their own trades. They have a prop desk where they take their own trades, and oftentimes they're taking the other side of your position. So yes, when I share that heat map with you, which by the way, this is not a high quality heat map. Can you imagine the data that exchanges have of your exact liquidation prices, your exact levels? Well, guess what? They'll go and target you. And of course, with Hyperliquid, all that data is public. It's decentralized, right? So even more so, it brings the attention of people who want to go and attack your positions. And in crypto, there's always a bigger boss. If you've got 100 million, good for you. The billionaire is going to come, move the market, and wreck you. And that's what we've seen time and time again. So I was reading this Medium article. Hold up. Do you want to learn technical analysis? You've come to the right place. Check out the link in the description to my TA course. You're going to learn all things technical analysis, and it's suitable for beginners. Head and shoulders pattern, cup and handle, EMA ribbon, Bollinger Bands. If all of that is confusing you and you don't know how to use it in the right way, the TA course is for you. Link is in the description, which of course just puts it into clearer English for us, what we've been saying anyway. Take a read of this. Here's the part most people don't realize, and they should realize, right? If you're in crypto, you should realize this bit. Exchanges don't just process your trades. They observe you. They know your leverage, your liquidation points, your size, your timing, and your panic patterns. They can see your next move before you make it, and many of them quietly in-house bet against you. They don't call it cheating, they call it market making. So if ever you watch my videos and I've explained that, look guys, the market makers are going to be taking this position, they're going to want to swing, grab that liquidity above, come below, grab the liquidity there, this is what I'm referring to. I'm quite surprised that someone of James's, I wouldn't say experience, because obviously everybody in crypto is relatively new, but somebody of his ability who was trading large size didn't understand this, or he's trying to play the victim because it helps his brand. And I think that's something else we need to bring up here. I think there's a few things going on here. Some people are saying, oh, James is just a really good trader and maybe he took the other side of the position himself. Who knows, guys? What if he had another account where he took the other position and he made the money, right? What if he did and he's playing it coy? That's a possibility. What I think is the actual possibility was he got a little bit too complacent and a market maker probably did take him out, right? And this is no different with projects. If you take a look at a project like or some of these projects, like even with Terra Luna at the time, or these projects that have collapsed, oftentimes it's a bigger bully who comes and wipes out the gains, right? That's typically what happens here. Now, what people found interesting here is kind of the journey James went on. In particular, I'm just trying to find this one tweet where he goes, 0.1 billion isn't a lot of money and money isn't real. And he's starting to talk the Andrew Tate language as well, which is interesting. But look, the reality is this loss would have hurt him. Unless he took the other side of the position and he's got the money, assuming he lost the money, it would have hurt him, right? And now he's trying to use this thing of getting everybody else to come enjoy, buy Bitcoin now, protect me from my liquidation point, which, by the way, I think his liquidation point is like 104,000. So super close. It's like, point something percent away. I mean, it's risky at the time of recording this video. So when you're playing this kind of stuff, I just want everybody, and the reason for this video, I just want everybody to make sure they understand that exchanges see your every move, right? And particularly if you're using a decentralized perp desk like Hyperliquid, people know your every move. And I thought this tweet from CZ in the aftermath was very interesting. Go give it a read as well. In fact, I'll retweet that for you guys to go and have a read. Given recent events, I think now might be a good time for someone to launch a dark pool perp desk. So basically what he's saying is, look, let's just launch something where people cannot see the order book, right? They cannot see it. And again, I don't know how this would work, if it would work, but it's a good kind of thought process to go down, which is, why is everything so publicly open? The problem then, if it's not publicly open, can you imagine the kind of nefarious activity that would go on in a dark pool as well? This is something someone smarter than I will have to figure out in the space. For our purposes as traders, what lessons can we take from this? First of all, don't go and just buy Bitcoin because James has told you to go protect the position and fight corruption. You got to be a little bit smarter than that, right? This corruption is deep-rooted. Crypto is unregulated to all intents and purposes. We know exchanges are doing this. It should not, this video should not be like a big surprise for you. Hopefully it's just reinforcing what you already know, which is these bullet points. They know your leverage, they know your liquidation points, they know your stop losses, right? So you've got to be smart. You've got to understand where are the times to make money. I'm just going to remind you my final story. One of the things that kind of made me fall out of love with traditional finance, which eventually led to me leaving trading for a traditional investment bank, was I just realized that the investment banks stack up to beat the average retail guy. And it's the same in crypto. Let's not be naive here, guys. A big investment bank is spending millions and millions and millions on the best data sources, on getting closer to the exchange so they can transact in nanoseconds. What are you doing? Sitting there with your dial-up broadband trying to beat them? Come on, be sensible. Crypto exchanges are exactly the same. They're there. And I don't just mean crypto exchanges. I mean market makers. You guys know who the big market makers are in the space. This is their bread and butter. This is how they make money. If they see you trying to make 100 million from the market with a 40x leverage trade, guess what? They're going to see it. They're going to go after you. Maybe you get lucky once. Maybe you get lucky twice. If you try to make it consistent like James is doing and trying to scale up, they're going to pick you off because there's always a bigger bad boy in the crypto space. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. If you learned something, smash up the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. If you actively want to trade with me, you can do so using the link in the description to my Telegram group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.